remember when we were dating, I don't know. I just feel like when we were dating, we were just kind of having fun. I don't feel like when we were dating, we were just taking the time to get to know each other. Do you? Do you feel like you were really getting to know me during that stage? Because I feel like we're more so doing that now than before.
Yeah. But I think but I think at the same time, too, when you're dating, you kind of try to only show the best parts of you to the other person. And so when you get married, that changes and you see everything.
Yeah.
Good, bad, and ugly. And so even stuff that you are not even aware of. And so I think, yeah, you're right. We just was going about it.
Yeah, going through the motions, kind of. Yeah. So that whole dating stage, did you really, like when did you know that you wanted to like be with me long term, like marriage?
Well, it was when we first started because...
But, okay, I know you said that when we first started, you said that I would be your wife. Mm-hmm. But did you, like, know 100%?
I knew 100%.
Like, were you hopeful and saying that out of hope? Or were you saying that out of, like, I have no doubt that you're my wife?
Yep.
So how did you, like, what made you be so confident, though? Because I can't say that's the same thing about you. Like, when we first started dating, I didn't know. Of course, I was hopeful, and that was, like, my prayer before we had even met, that, like, my next boyfriend would be my husband, because I just didn't want to have to go through the whole dating and getting to know people and being hurt and yada, yada. So I was like, I'm taking my hand off of it. I'm not going to try and put anything together or make something shake for myself. Like, the next one needs to be the one that you send for me, you know, and not me having anything to do with it. And so, but even when you and I got together, it still wasn't like I know 100% that this is who God sent me to be my husband. So, like, what made you so confident? Or, like, what made you just know for sure?
I would say just that the same way. I had been dating before, and it was just a bunch of foolishness. Mm-hmm. And I was just not... And I actually had a conversation with God, and I was like, I'm not doing this no more. My next girlfriend will be my wife, and that's just what it's gonna be. And so when we got together, I mean, yeah, I told you that early because I was sure. I mean, I didn't have no question about that. I knew. I don't know exactly how I knew, but I was just resting on that because I felt like if God allowed me to have you, and I know how God is. God grants requests. Mm-hmm. He, you know, and at that time I was, although sometimes I strayed, but I was, you know, I was trying my best to be right there with him. And so, I went, you know, it was just it. I didn't even see it as, you know, how some people see, go sow your wild oats. Don't be just sold on this one person. Don't just, all that type of stuff. I wasn't even thinking like that.
Right.
Because my whole mentality was, I don't have time to be chasing after many different people and going through. I don't got time.
Yeah.
I don't got time. It's too much. So at what point did you know
that you were my husband?
Mm-hmm. When I became your husband.
No, I knew before then, of course, because of the conversations that we'd had. And, like in the beginning, I didn't really know a lot about you yet. And we hadn't really had those serious conversations about what we're both looking for out of the relationship. But once we got to know each other and like we started talking about like, I'm in this for the long haul. Well, I am too. And I want a family. I want this, like just knowing that we're on the same page and the direction that we're going in is the same. And knowing that we had this exact same prayer to God about like, this gotta be the one because I'm sick of it. And just even knowing, I guess to answer the question, because I'm rambling, just knowing that once I learned how committed you were to hearing the voice of God, like for every decision that you make, that's when I knew like you weren't just playing around, if that makes sense. Because since I've gotten to know you, that's like your biggest thing is like, I'm not moving, I'm not acting on anything without hearing his voice and his command or his yes. And so, just knowing that that was something that you heard from God on, and like that you wouldn't just make that up, just to be with someone. Like, I'm not fronting, I'm not making this up, like this is not a joke for me, I'm in this. If you're in it, I'm in it. And so that's when I can say like I was at peace with it. Like there was no, what if we break up, or is he really, in it for the long haul? Am I making a mistake, or am I gonna be hurt again? Like after that, it was just, I know. So when we first got married, you remember like for the first couple of months, like I went through that whole stage of wanting to be the perfect wife and feeling just kind of, I guess, inadequate, and like I just didn't have a lot of confidence in the role, and I just put a lot of emphasis on the title of wife, and I was trying to do things based off of what I grew up thinking made a good wife, so being able to hold down the home and like have the meals cooked and have the laundry done, have the house clean, have all this done, so when he get out work, he ain't got to do nothing, So when we first got married, I was like struggling because when I was not able to do certain things and get certain chores done, I felt like I had missed the mark or somehow let you down. Like if you would come home and there were dishes in the sink, I would feel so bad because I'm like, you were supposed to have that done. Like he was supposed to come home to a spotless home. You know what I'm saying? And so I just remember us having to sit down and have like that conversation about what your expectations were and how I created those, and how you never said those were things that you needed nor even wanted. I mean, of course, let's keep things tidy, but I was putting that pressure on myself just based off of what I thought like I was supposed to be, and just having that conversation like really helped me to take that pressure off of myself, and it allowed me to focus on what really mattered, I feel like, which is us. I feel like I was putting so much energy into like doing wife instead of being wife, So you remember that, don't you?
Oh yeah. She crying and having fits and all of that over some dishes in the sink. I can wash my own dishes. I mean, and
but don't you think that's kind of how things were taught, or at least coming up? Like the man goes out and makes the bread, and you cook the bread. You know what I'm saying? Like he don't need to be coming home having to What?
Says
You don't
who?
need. You know,
Says
I'm
who?
just saying that's like the picture that was painted growing up. Like the wife does all that type of stuff, and the husband just makes the money, and he needs to be catered to and treated well, and you make sure he has everything. You know.
Yeah, but
And
at
so,
the same time, you're not my slave or my servant. Yes, we serve one another, but we're equal.
yeah.
And so, and you're my helper. And so, if anything, this is my house. I'm the keeper of the house. You the helper.
Yeah.
You help me keep the house. And so, if anything, I need to make sure that the dishes are washed and that everything is in order and where it needs to be. And you just help where you can and where I need assistance.
Yeah. But that was like the conversation we had was just the beginning of me rewiring my brain. And like not making it something that it didn't have to be. Like I made the first few months hard for myself when they didn't have to be, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, and you feeling like you couldn't, the cooking and all of that stuff, that was just...
I always just felt like your grandma would be so disappointed. Because, you know, your grandma would just, you know, always have the food prepared for you guys and cooking every day. And I just felt like,
she ain't
I
cook
can't
every
keep
day
up
now.
with that.
She ain't cook every day now. She had her days, but I mean, yes, she cooked. But see, I think that generation, they learned a system to where they could just cook. I mean, but you got to understand too, they weren't really consumed by a whole lot of anything else.
Right.
I mean, like my grandma, yes, she went to work at nights, but she would get up in the mornings and put them pots on the stove. They cook all day. By the time she get ready to go to work again at night, they ready. Or before she even started working, then her night job, they had a system, but they didn't do anything else outside of work and home. Like we have all these other things that we're involved in and all of that. And I think in marriages, you can't look at somebody else's home situation or what somebody else did or even what your parents did as your map to how you do things in your house. I think you got to figure out how things will work for you and your family. Like for us, I don't mind washing clothes. I don't mind doing whatever. We just make it work how we can.
I don't mind mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Actually, like, enjoy it.
Yeah, we make it work however we feel. Yeah, because I can't mow that, y'all. I mean, I've been mowing it. Yeah, that's for the birds.
Yeah.
But we make it work however we need to. It is.
So let's talk about this whole thing called being a husband and the man of the house, the leader. How have you seen yourself grow and develop and improve from when I first met you back in 2014 to now 2020? From boyfriend to fiance to husband, like how have you progressed? If you could explain your progression, how would you explain it?
I just honestly feel like I have had to release my control over a lot of things all the more. I think being a fiance and a husband has taught me how to lean and rely even more solely on God, because I think at that time when I was younger and we were dating, I wanted to control a lot of things, like whether it was financial situations or whatever.
Or just like outcomes in general.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, how things happen, wanting to be in control and trying to make things happen. But I think over time, just learning to rest and rely on God for everything, and I think one of the most pivotal moments for that was when we went through our little finance phase, where we were just, yeah. That really woke me up to say, when things are in your hand, it's not always the best option. When you're in control of things, it's not always you don't always get the right outcome. So once we started praying more and relying and following principles and all of that, things just started to line up even more. And from that moment, and from those moments, like, that taught me that every area has to be the same. So, like we talked about on the last weekend, about how you go through your feelings of, self-worth and all that type of stuff. Like I talked about how I can't necessarily pull you out of that, but I have to rest and rely on God to do whatever he needs to do in your life. And I think in every area, that's what I have learned.
yeah.
To rest and rely on God for every area concerning us, whether it's this house, whether it's our emotional situation, whether it's our families, whatever, church, whatever, resting and relying on God to lead, guide, direct, and control every aspect of it. And even though he gives you authority over something, and even though, because see, a lot of people don't understand that authority comes with a manuscript, or it comes with a way to handle it or a way to use it. And so just because you've been given authority and dominion and charge and leadership does not mean that you neglect the guide for how to lead.
You still have to follow.
You still got to follow.
Yeah.
You still got to follow, because I don't know. It's just like if we take, say for instance, we take this phone, put it in my granddaddy's hand with no instruction, no guidance at all, and expect him to figure out, and he gonna lock this thing up. He gonna mess it up. We gonna have to take it back to the factory, get it fixed. And that's what happens so often, I think, when we try to take control and as the man be in charge and rule and without the guide. And so I think that's just been the greatest teaching, and to see growth over time is just growth for me has been relinquishing control. Just letting go of control, saying, I'm not in control. God, I'm looking to you. Looking to God more has been my growth. On what we do, like even with us deciding to buy this house or deciding to purchase a house anyway. I think all of that came from just being able to rest and rely.
Yeah.
Because we at one point wanted to make it happen or make something happen for ourselves.
Yeah. And I feel like with you saying you've learned to rest and rely, like that's what gives me rest, is knowing that I'm being led by someone that is resting and relying completely on God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't have to worry about family decisions, or when you say we need to do this or we need to do that or this is how we will do it, there's never like a because I know that this is not you just deciding, well, this is what we're gonna do because I want to do it. I know that you've spent time and that you don't move without hearing. And so that's what honestly gives me the rest and the reassurance, so that I can, as your wife, follow you and allow you to lead our family. So it's good. You should be proud. You've grown a lot. So what is something that makes you most proud to be a husband?
The most proud part for me of being a husband, I think, would just be, just getting to have somebody like you, to grow with and to do life with, and to, at the end of the day, just be able to enjoy everything with. And that God thought enough of me to make a you for me. Yeah, I think that's my most proud part of being a husband. And just to be able to, as anointed and powerful as you are, and as...
Pootie, do not start.
Do not start with?
With that.
With what?
Go ahead.
See, I'm trying to have a
Okay.
serious moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to play. No, but as powerful as you are, just to be able to walk with you and hear your heart and mind, and also for you to choose to walk with me, that's proud. That, yeah. What about you?
I'm most proud to be your wife because I think it's a little bit of what you said, like, you are a gift to me, and I know that every gift is like unmerited, like I didn't deserve it. And so just knowing that he loves me enough to give me you, and knowing that I don't deserve you, that makes me proud to be your wife. And I'm also proud to be your wife because of just who you are. I think you are so awesome, so amazing. You're like the most special person to me, and I've never met anyone like you before. Just so loving, so committed, so like 100% all in, so protective, such a, like, you are like my safe place, And of course, we know that Christ is above all, but just speaking in terms of you, like, you are a safe place for me. And at the end of the day, like, you are the one that I want to talk to, that I want to see, that I want to lay with and sleep with and do life with. And I'm just proud of who you are. Like, it's an honor for me to stand beside you. It's an honor for me to have your last name. And I don't know, I just love who you're growing to be, or who you're coming into, I'd love to watch you minister. I love to watch you preach. I love your passion and like fire for the word of God. It's like nothing else that I've ever seen, and just that alone, like, that makes me proud to know that he made this easy for me, He gave me someone that will love me, regardless of who I am, what I'll do, the mistakes I've made, how imperfect I am, my insecurities. Like, he gave me someone that will love me and care for me and do all he can to provide for me, work 3 jobs to make sure that, like, come on now. Who wouldn't be proud to be that person's wife, that man's wife? And I guess lastly, what makes me so proud is just I don't know, I just admire you, like everything about you. How you follow Christ and just how you've dedicated your life to servanthood, and I see how much you give and give and give and give and pour and give and pour and pour and give and give and give and give, and you still make sure that I have attention, that I am loved, that I'm cuddled. You still get up out of the bed after you're comfortable to get me water. You know, it's the small things, and all of that together just makes me like extremely proud. Like, you're something to be proud of. You're someone to be proud of. And yeah.